Hi, this is Adam with 5 Minutes with Kerusso. Today, we're going to be talking about some verses starting in Revelation chapter 12 and ending in Genesis chapter 3. We're going to look at Revelation chapter 12, verses 1 through 5. First, a great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. She was pregnant and cried out in pain as she was about to give birth. Then another sign appeared in heaven, an enormous red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns on its heads. Its tail swept a third of the stars out of the sky and flung them to the earth. The dragon stood in front of the woman who was about to give birth so that it might devour her child the moment he was born. She gave birth to a son, a male child, who will rule all the nations with an iron scepter, and her child was snatched up to God and to his throne. So one of the questions with Revelation is always, what does this mean? What is this supposed to be? And this woman is no exception. Some people think that she is supposed to be Mary, the mother of Jesus. Others say that she's supposed to be a stand-in for Eve. Some think she's more symbolic, which is tied with the idea of, being clothed with the sun, the moon under her feet, and the 12 stars, possibly representing the 12 tribes of Israel. And so there's this big question of who she's supposed to be. I think she is the more symbolic stand-in. I don't think she's one specific woman. I think she might just be a representation of perhaps just all women in general, or even just all believers in general. But the question is why a woman? Why use a woman as the symbol here, other than the obvious, giving birth? But it's a prophecy vision. It can be anything that, creates the Messiah. I think that what this is, though, is it's a look at how women fit into God's plan, which we'll go into here in a little bit more. But first, we need some context for the ancient world and how they viewed women. Generally, it was a pretty negative view. They tended to see women as more of a symbol of chaos, like with the goddess Tiamat, or even the goddess Chaos herself in the Greek pantheon. Sticking with the Greek, there's the story of Pandora, who in the original myth was a lot more malicious and bringing strife and struggle and pain to humanity than modern retellings would have you believe. And even symbols of death, with Persephone being as much of a goddess of the underworld as her husband Hades. So there's generally just a very negative view of women in the ancient world. And this wasn't even limited to stuff outside of the Bible. There is still a strong sense of negativity towards Eve in particular. After all, Eve is the one who talked to the snake and ate the fruit. In Genesis 3:6, we have, when the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. She gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate it. So there's just this inherent negativity that the ancient world had towards women. And I feel that what this is supposed to help do in Revelation is to show how that view is wrong, how that view is too negative. We see this actually followed up in shortly after in Genesis 3, when God is giving out the punishments, and he comes to, the relationship between the woman and the snake, saying that, her children will crush your head, but you will only strike his heel. And so it's the idea that it's through the woman this redemption will come. It's not the men's children, it's the woman's children who will have this retribution. And so that's one reason why I think this woman's here, is to be a fulfillment of prophecy, and to be a way to conclude to reinforce the idea of women having a role. Now, this is not saying that women can only be useful by giving birth, but it is saying that women are as much a part of God's plan as men are. And so God brings everyone into his kingdom, and no one should be turned away for wanting to do God's service, as long as they have that heart to serve. Thank you.